Hi, my name is Birva Pandya. I play Iris Stanhope on The Institute, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. I'm so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today I'm talking to Birva Pandya, who plays Iris in The Institute. Birva, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Very welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you about the show. I recently had Finn on recently was talking about the series as well. But before we get into The Institute, I kind of wanted to just ask you, where did your love for film and television come from, and how did you get started in acting?
I love this question. I feel like ever since I was younger, I always had just such a passion for storytelling. I was a big reader growing up. Me and my sister loved horror films. Interestingly
There you
enough,
go.
I think we one of our favorite horror movies was Coraline, and it's like such a comfort movie for us, even though it's like so eerie and terrifying in its own way. So even Stephen King was like such a big part of my childhood growing up. So it feels like such a, I don't know, full circle moment and such a dream come true for it to be, you know, kind of the start of my journey in my career and my love for film. And then to also be able to be a part of the Stephen King universe. I started off in drama and theater, as many people do. Me and my sister did a lot of plays together in school growing up, and then my parents were like, you know what, like why not just give this a shot? Let's put them in acting school and acting classes. Um, I really enjoyed it. I honestly never even considered it a job. It was just super fun to me. I like used to make like skits with my friends in class and then present it um in front of like teachers and stuff. So it honestly just came from a passion of like telling stories. And I think that it's just really wonderful that Stephen King, like fan of so many, and he is a great storyteller. So it is really an honor to be a part of the Institute and have that um, come into my journey of film and in my career. So
Oh, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a master storyteller. That's not definitely not an exaggeration at all. I'm a big fan of his work ever since I was fairly young. I probably read some of his stuff when maybe I was like too young. I think
yeah.
first book that I read was Salem's Lot, I think was the
Wow.
first one. And
Yeah.
I was like maybe a teenager, but like just barely. So that was the first
Right.
one, and that one scared me a little bit. I didn't read like it or Pet Cemetery until a little bit later on,
Yeah, me
which
too.
there's aspects of that probably a good thing that I didn't read it till I was like older as an
Right?
adult.
Yeah, I saw the movie before before I read the book, but I mean, it's so true. Even with like The Shining, which is like such a classic for so many, like you hear so much about it. And I watched that movie when I was like so young. So you're right. It's like these like, famous movies and books that its content, it's so heavy, but I feel like it's universally recognized not just by adults, but young adults and even children, which I mean may not be the best thing, but I mean, I don't know, like I horror was like something that I like bonded over with my sister when I was young. So even
Yeah.
though it's like even with the Institute, I mean, it involves kids, but it is such terrifying, gruesome stuff. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm kind of same there with you. With my brother, I have a younger brother. We watched those. Had friends would go over to sleepovers, and I know like for growing up, like kind of a rite of passage w was watching the original It, the
Yes.
miniseries from the '90s,
Yeah.
and I actually surprisingly enough, I remember watching it because I all my friends are like, oh, it's like the scariest thing ever, that you'll ever see, and
Mhm.
I remember watching it. And I actually wasn't that scared of it the first
Scared,
time I
yeah.
watched it. But I feel like that probably because I was like scared and traumatized by other stuff when I was even younger as a kid. So,
Yeah. No, for sure. I totally agree with you.
but what about as far as so regarding the Institute, what was it about the story itself and then the character of Iris that really kind of drew you to this project initially?
So when I first got the audition for it for the sides of it, I don't even know if I knew if it was a Stephen King show. I think for my first audition, I just got in the sides and I was so gripped. Like I didn't know much about the character. I didn't know what she was going through, but there was just this feeling of like I had like a pit in my stomach. Like I felt genuinely anxious and scared for this girl. So immediately there was like an attachment, and I don't know, there was just like I just really wanted it. There was like this desperation within me that I'm like, I think I could I think I could go pretty far with this character. And I think that there was some relatability as well. The sides that I'd gone for the audition was the one where she meets Luke and the other kids for the first time. Like Luke sees the whole gang in the
Yeah.
cafeteria. And she just she seemed like a very resilient girl. And despite all of what was going on, it she just seemed like she had this some sort of perseverance and this fight within her. Um, that I think spread through the kids. Like it seemed contagious. And even though they were so young, I don't know, there was like this sense of relatability and strength. So I think I gave like the initial audition and then I got a call back for it. And then I found out, oh, like this is the Institute. I read the book immediately and I could not put it down. Like I read it, I think within a day.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and I'm like I said, I'm a big reader. At that time when I was auditioning, I was reading another series. It's the Red Rising series. I don't know if you've heard of
Oh,
it,
yep,
but
yep. I haven't read it
yeah,
myself,
it's
but I
like
know of
it's
it.
very very different, but like sci-fi. And there's this thing in it called the Institute. It's not called the Institute, but it's like all these basically like characters in the book have to go through this rite of passage called the Institute. And I'm like, this is just such a crazy coincidence. Like I feel like this is a sign.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think
meant to
that I
be.
was able to approach the character through the lens of that series, even if it was so different. Like I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, these are kids, but they're also warriors. Like, in a sense, it is kind of similar to this other series where like all of these people have to prove themselves somehow. So, the next few auditions I gave, I was like, okay, this feels like right for me. Like, this feels like I'm approaching it through all these different lenses. And as the auditions like went on and the callbacks went on, I just felt like I was getting closer and closer to the heart of Iris and kind of unpeeling all those layers. Um, so yeah, honestly the audition process was just so sacred to me and such a memorable one. I feel like not that often that I find that I will immediately connect to a character once I first get the sides for it. But I feel like it was like just an instant connection the minute I picked up. Like I saw the email and I'm like,
I
this is
want
it.
this. Yeah, this
Yeah.
needs to happen. I
Mm-hmm.
love that too. So it's like, yeah, you had a feeling that where you like you said where you just instantly connected with the character. That's always really cool. And then just kind of those little hints where it's like, oh, okay, this is meant to happen. I feel like this
The
is like
sign.
my
Yeah.
part that I gotta get this. How did you want to balance staying true to the character from the book, but also bringing your own elements to the character of Iris as well for the show?
Mm-hmm. Um, so I was annotating the book like as I was reading it, and I think the first time that even Luke sees Iris, it's they're not in the cafeteria, they're in the playground. So it's where Finn and Joe are like playing chess, like that's kind of the playground where they're like often the kids are playing like basketball. In the book, that's where they're initially meeting. And so I just remember like annotating her physical description, her kind of first impression of Luke in the book and what Luke thought of her. She comes off as very sweet, as very inviting and welcoming, and I wanted to stay true to that, but not completely in the sense that like every kid has their own motivations and intentions of like okay, like what's going to change, what's going to be the dynamic of the group now that there's like this newcomer. um and I think with Iris I wanted to have a bit of an edge there, like and almost like hey, like nice to meet you, but also kind of a sense of like wariness and doubtfulness and a bit of I don't know, like a bit of an edge, a bit of like rebelliousness. And I think that kind of changed when we were all on set as well, because Jack Bender, a wonderful director, also had his own ideas. So it was a big collaborative process. I think that my character went through a huge transformation from like when I first gave the read for it, like in the first initial auditions, to like when it was actually like being on set.
Yeah.
Um, I think the main thing that stuck with me was having I wanted to keep her true to a character of being like someone that is very loyal, um, and cares about people almost to a fault. And that was super easy for me because I think of myself as like a big people pleaser. And so I think that's where the relatability aspect comes in of it too, was like, this is a girl that just really wants to help everyone, even if it means destroying herself or, being a victim of something that's like bigger than her, as long as her friends are safe.
And it must be nice to do as an actor that just having a collaborative environment like that. So even though the character, like you said, it changed from when you first got the role, that
Mhm.
you were very much involved in the creation and development of that character as that kind of as it went from that journey from script to screen.
For sure. I'm a big believer in like movement. I think that movement, and especially when it comes to like blocking on camera or like blocking on stage, like coming from a theater background, um, it really helps you tune into like your emotions. And so I feel like not even like a ritual, but in Nova Scotia, like when we were filming, I wouldn't even really do much prep in terms of like before I was working the next day. Like I honestly would just like memorize my lines and then go on set. And like you said, it's like a very collaborative process. So Jack Bender, all the other actors, like we'd be guided through this blocking, and I feel like we all had such a great understanding of who we were playing and our characters, that like it just would turn into like it just felt like so intuitive. um yeah, so the cameras would roll and it was just like it just worked. And then Jack would come over and say, hey, maybe sit down there instead of just like standing up or like going around the table, and it just like felt right. So it was very easy. I think that so much of the work is done. It was a pretty long audition process, I will say too, like over the course of maybe like 3 months we were all
Oh, wow.
reading. Yeah, so it was kind of extensive, and I think that within that time it gave us so much time to really just sit with our characters and know what we were going to do. And yeah, like it was after that we kind of just left it up to Jack and then did what we could on set.
Now, as far as your first day being on set, do you remember that experience of walking on there, getting into the hair, the makeup, the costume, and then your reaction to seeing the set of the Institute for the first time?
Oh yeah, this is like such a core memory. I think it was, yeah, it was also the first day was the day that Luke meets all the kids. So it was the day that I met like Joe, Finn, Simone, everybody, Jack, even Jason, and all of us could not stop talking about how cool the set looked, because it was basically back half and front half were like in the same studio. So it
Yeah.
was really trippy. Like you would go into the cafeteria and then you would leave and there's like cameras everywhere. It's like all the production equipment. And then you'd walk like a few steps and it would be like back half. And it would just be such a completely different, like I literally like it was crazy. And then you had the backdrop of like the town right behind you, like where the playground is, and it looked just so real. So I don't know, it was just such a contrasting set for it to be back half and then front half like right next to each other. um and then even like the location days where like you see the exterior of the institute, which we were filming in Dartmouth, so huge. And I don't know, it all seems like when you're actually living in it, you're like, how is this gonna go together? But then you when you see it in the show and you watch it in the show, it's like, wow, that just like works so good. And then
Yeah.
also her makeup is honestly done with the lightings, and because the lighting in back half is so much more dramatic, it's more green. And even in the poster like behind you, you could see how it's very moody, very dramatic. And so when you're living in it, it's like, oh my god, like what, how is this going to translate on screen? But then I have like photos on my phone of like just capturing the monitor, and it looks like so good, like it just fits. So yeah, when you see it in person you're like, this is crazy, but then on screen it translates very, very well.
Oh
So
yeah, it's one thing to read it in the script, but then to actually be there physically on location and experience and visualize all the sets, I feel like yeah, that's a
for
whole
sure.
different journey in
And then
itself.
Ben's scenes, like, him being like the night knocker is also just such a shift in the story, and it works so well. So you'll see like even when you're watching the episodes, like the lighting, like the color grading of it completely shifts too. And um yeah,
I'm,
it's truly like the process of like movie making, but
I'm
it's
glad
really
they were able to incorporate that character into the story more too,
yeah.
because I mean he's definitely a major character in the book, but they had to they wanted to find a way to include him a little bit more. So I love how they were able to kind of weave him in and out
For
of the story
sure.
for the series.
Yeah, even his relationships with like Orphan Annie and all of it, I think it just really adds a lot more depth um, to the story, and then him finding the institute and finding out what's happening. So
Yeah, and as far as the rest of the kids too and the cast, how did you guys kind of develop that relationship and dynamic that your characters share?
for sure. I think honestly it was just so natural. We're all around the same age, and this was just such an exciting journey for us all to be on together. We're all big fans of Stephen King, so it honestly I just like was like, oh my God, like pinch me right now. Is this even real? And Halifax is very small, and so we were all living quite close to each other. So after set, we would like constantly be hanging out. We went to the movies a lot. Like we saw so many
Love
movies.
that.
Um, and Simone was kind of the hostess. Like we would always go to her apartment because she was like right central to like close to all of us. Um, and we spent just hours like just talking to each other. We would play card games. Finn had this game called Quiplash, and so we would like play that all the time. Um, yeah, and even like it usually it was me, Simone, Joe, Finn, and Arlen. But even like once Vigo came along, like a lot of fun with him. Yeah, even we went to dinner with like Hannah and Jason and Ben, and it was just such a good time. And I find that like it truly is a gift when you're able to get along with your co-stars. I never think of it like that because again, like it doesn't feel like a job, but like they are kind of your like they're your like work like they're like your work partners,
Yeah.
so it always is a gift when you're able to get along with them. And it's I don't know, it's just such a great group of people. They're all so incredibly talented, and I think it really just made the chemistry even better on screen, even if it is between like Jason and Joe, like you know um yeah, I don't know, it just works. It's always a gift when you're able to have that relationship off screen.
Yeah, you guys having that chemistry and just hearing that from the stories that you've been telling as far as like getting along with each other so quickly, I think it does translate well on screen and you can tell as a viewer, like even before asking you that question, I feel like yeah, you guys had to have good chemistry just
Mhm.
off the set as well because it really plays that way.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, even outside of it, like I think that uh we'll be friends for quite a while, and like I'm still in touch with every one of them. We have like a group chat. So um yeah, it's super
Each
fun
week
stuff.
with the episodes dropping.
Yeah, literally like we're always talking about what's happening, just like sharing screenshots as well. Like we've had like watch parties for like once the when the first episode dropped. And yeah, it's just so exciting because it's like again, it's a collaborative process. So it's always so fun when you're able to also celebrate when it's over and just have, be able to share it with each other. So,
And hopefully you guys, fingers crossed, hopefully you guys get to work on some, future projects together again. That would be great to see
sure.
you guys together.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Now, as far as can you talk about filming the scenes when Iris is going to the back half and just kind of what's going through her mind as she's going to that back half? Because it's kind of split amongst the group of how they kind of feel about it. Some I feel are more in denial of what is back there compared to others. So what's
Yeah.
kind of going through her mind when she's going back there?
Yeah. So I think that was like my second day.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I think it was my second day. Yeah. So it was like right as we were getting started. And um, I was quite nervous because of that. Like I just met everybody, so we weren't as close. It was still very new. Um, but I think it was just about having a sense of like being strong enough to go through this, not just to hold, like to show face, like in front of her friends, but also for her not to completely break down. Like I think that so much of it, like you said, is a defense mechanism and being in denial or being completely rebellious and just not accepting any of it. I think for Iris, it's just like having to accept her fate in a way of being like, whatever happens, I just have to keep a semblance of hope or have something holding me grounded and keeping me grounded, and something that will keep me going no matter where I am, even if I'm with my friends, if I'm without my friends, if I'm going to be alone in back half. Like, and I think that in the scene where I leave, like me holding like Nikki's hand, it's also that sense of like, you know what, like if you lose it, like I'm gonna lose it. So
Yeah.
you have to keep me grounded. In terms of like prepping for it, I think that yeah, again, like what I said, so much of that character building was done through the audition process that like on set I kind of just like knew the lines and then got into that mental state of like vulnerability and being able to show vulnerability. I think that's a big thing, especially in front of people that like you've never worked with before. Um, and then just having faith in the director, and that was very easy with Jack Bender. So yeah, I think that it happened very naturally. If I'm going to be so honest, I don't even remember filming that scene completely. I feel like I kind of just like
Yeah. In the
yeah,
zone.
it just I remember getting there and then I remember leaving, but like yeah, I don't really remember what happened while filming, but I think that that's I don't know, maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. Yeah, it was just very easy. It felt very natural. Um
And you can tell too, like as well, as someone who had read the book prior to this, because I'd read it when it first came out, a couple of
oh,
years
lovely.
ago.
Yeah.
So going into it, it's like as soon as that happens as a reader, I mean, granted, like it's an adaptation, so things can be slightly different, but you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, like you know what's coming next as the story's starting to go on, you kind of have an
Yeah.
idea what to expect. And
Yeah.
did it feel when you were playing up until episode like 4 and 5, like
Yeah.
when we see your character in the back half, did
Yeah.
it feel like almost playing a completely different character when we see her where she's been back there for a little while now?
For sure. Yeah, I think that what was mainly hard for me was like keeping that transition period, of like having bits of Iris, but then also showing that like she's losing so much of herself. Um, I feel like it's a lot easier to play either completely yourself or like not at all. And it was that transitionatory period of like episodes 4 and 5 where it's like it's so brutal because like you said in the book, it's like totally described as like this just torturous like process of just stripping who you are from the inside. And I think that um that's where Jack really came in because I don't really like watching myself. Like I feel like that's when you really get super nitpicky. So
Yeah,
from an
understand.
outsider's perspective, yeah, exactly, right. So from an outsider's perspective, like when someone else is able to tell you something instead of you looking for it, I think it's a lot more helpful. So I think Jack was able to be like, you're a little too awake for this, or he would say like you're a little too awake or like acting a little too gorked.
Yeah.
So it was like, one of those, and you would kind of just have to play with toning it down or bringing it up a little bit. Um, but yeah, honestly, I think on the inside, it was very jarring. Like it was not like no character I've ever really played before. And I was like, so like this girl's being put through the ringer. So I was like, this is
Yeah.
like really tough. Like it's, yeah, there definitely needed to be a lot of empathy. There needed to be a lot of like feelings of like almost like sadness for her, but I didn't want to pity her. Um, yeah, so it was kind of just like being able to hold on to whatever remnants of Iris there was before she would completely be taken away from me. But
And I'm
again,
sure it
that
must be
yeah,
challenging too. Like I'm sure playing something and playing almost two different characters, but at the same time, I feel like getting to almost play a completely different character in a way, I'm sure that must have been a lot of fun for you as an actor as well.
yeah, no, yeah, super, super fun. There's a lot of freedom to play, I think, within this genre, and also like it was just a very like freeing experience. I think everyone on the executive team was very open about like having that creative liberty. So it was really great.
Yeah, and earlier in the interview, we were talking about just our mutual love for Stephen King. So, what for you personally makes Stephen King such a master storyteller, in your opinion?
I think it's just like his ability to keep his audience hooked. I think like he is the king of horror, but he's not he's been able to do so many different like levels of horror. Like I think that every book that he writes is a different like almost like a subgenre of
Yeah,
horror. Um, and I think even with the Institute, it's so different from anything that he's done when it's involving kids, especially in the book. Like they are a lot younger. And some people I know like started the book and then like couldn't even finish it just because it was so disturbing to read because of like their ages.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think it's his ability to keep you gripped no matter, what the content of the story is. Like honestly, like it's you literally can't put it down. Like I read it in like a day.
Yeah.
All
No,
of
I
his
remember
books, like
reading it too.
yeah. So it's like a page turner. Every single one. It's yeah, no wonder he's the king of horror.
And I think just he has such interesting, complex, and detailed characters in the book as well. You really get to spend time and sit with those characters because, yeah, I mean, the books, a lot of them, for the most part, usually range from like 500 to like 1,000 pages. So you're with these characters for quite a while.
1000%. Yeah.
And I love
Even
that you guys did this as a series too, that because I feel like with a series, sometimes with a movie, realistically, it's like, yeah, like we see movies that are like 2.5 hours, but with a series, you get to spend like, 7, 8 hours getting
yeah,
to explore the story rather than
grow
kind of
with the
trying to fit it all
characters.
down.
Yeah, learn about them. Um, Even with the antagonist, I feel like it's never just villain. It's
Yeah.
like he writes such great antagonists. He writes them with purpose and there's like intention and you find you sometimes like grow to love them in a way. Like I don't know. I think that he is truly a great storyteller because all parts of it just he really knows how to build that story and that's again like you said with having really complex and intricate characters.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I'm not gonna more so just like kind of reaction because I'm sure obviously you can't really say anything about like the series itself,
Yeah.
but what was your reaction to being cast in the Handmaid's Tales spin-off series, The Testaments? What was your reaction to just getting the part itself?
I was honestly speechless. I was speechless, so I will stay speechless because I
Yeah,
was
I don't want to get you in trouble.
speechless. No, super exciting. So again, pinch me, like
Yeah.
yeah,
I can't wait to that's something I can't wait to see, what comes like once you guys are all done with that for sure. And just to wrap things up for you, is there anything else that you want to say about working on the Institute and then just where can fans stay up to date with you moving forward?
for sure. Yeah, I think The Institute is a great watch for really everybody. Like we said, Stephen King is so universal, and I think that there truly is something for everyone in this show. Um, yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Birva Pandya. Um, and hopefully I can say more about the Testament soon. So
Yeah, no, well, would definitely love to have you back in the future. It was great talking to you today, Burva. Thank you so much for your time and yeah, we'll hope to you can't wait to see that next project for you coming soon.
perfect. Great chatting with you. Thank you, Pat. Hi, my name is Birva Pandya. I play Iris Stanhope on The Institute, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.